The twin suns of Tr burned overhead, casting long shadows across the sprawling alien bazaar. Merchants barked in half a dozen languages, each stall teeming with exotic goods, shimmering fabrics that adjusted to mood, fruits that glowed with inner light, and crystalline gadgets that defied known physics. But amid the noise and color, a stillness took root. A young alien girl stood trembling, clutching a loaf of nutrient bread. Her blue skin was streaked with dust, her violet eyes wide with fear as she backed away from the burly Goran enforcer looming above her. A crowd began to gather, whispering, pointing. Justice in Tarkaler's lower quadrant was swift and merciless, especially for the starving. "She stole," growled the enforcer, his voice amplified by the collar around his thick neck. "Punishable by public execution, as decreed by the merchant accord." The girl stammered, "Please, I was hungry. I have no." He slapped her hard across the face, sending her skidding to the dirt. The crowd recoiled, but no one intervened. On Tarkaler, empathy was expensive. "Stop," came a voice, calm yet heavy with authority. Heads turned. A human stepped through the crowd. Part 2: The Stranger. His name was Commander Mason Kade. Tall, muscled, and weather-worn, he wore civilian clothes over a reinforced mesh undersuit. His cybernetic left arm, a sleek chrome fiber hybrid, gleamed under the sun. The United Terran Coalition badge embedded in his jacket glinted with faint blue light. Mason had retired from the UTC years ago. Since then, he'd wandered from colony to colony, a drifting peacekeeper, fixing what little he could. But injustice, that still lit a fire in him. He stepped between the girl and the enforcer, his tone still cool. "Did you say public execution? For stealing bread?" The enforcer's 4 nostrils flared. "She violated accord law. This is not your concern, human." "She's a child," Mason said, kneeling beside her. "How long has she gone without food?" "Doesn't matter," growled the enforcer. "She's a thief." Mason stood again, towering just enough to make the enforcer hesitate. Under UTC Charter 12.4, no execution can occur without due process in mixed-species zones. This bazaar is open trade, which makes it a neutral zone. A flicker of uncertainty crossed the enforcer's face. Legalities weren't his strong suit. A shriveled merchant slithered forward, voice high and oily. "No Terran law here. This is Tarkaler. She dies." Mason ignored him. "I'm taking her." "She stole," someone yelled. "Then I'll pay for what she took," Mason said, tossing a chip embedded with 500 creds onto the ground. "And extra for the inconvenience." Silence fell. Credits always had a way of soothing moral outrage. The enforcer grunted, then stepped back. "She's yours, human. But if she steals again, there will be no second chance." Part 3: A Name in the Dark. That night, Mason and the girl sat around a small campfire just beyond the market's edge, under the watchful eye of an old cargo skiff he'd repurposed as shelter. She huddled under a thermal blanket, staring at him. "What's your name?" he asked gently. She hesitated. "Zhara. How long have you been alone?" Her eyes dropped. "Since the raid. My village. Pirates took everything. My mother hid me under the floor. When I came out, everyone was gone." Mason clenched his jaw. He'd seen too many colonies torn apart like that, abandoned by interstellar politics, too unprofitable for rescue. "Do you have any family left?" She shook her head. He nodded slowly. "You're safe now. No one's going to hurt you while I'm here." Zhara studied him. "Why did you help me?" Mason leaned back, staring at the sky. Because someone helped me once. And because people like us. We don't turn away when it matters. Part 4, The Network. Over the next few days, Mason learned more than he expected. Zhara wasn't just a hungry child, she was clever. She could pick locks with a bit of wire, speak 4 dialects, and knew the bazaar's layout better than any merchant. But she also had a secret. One night she showed him. Her fingertips shimmered, then split apart, tiny threads of light extending from her skin into the air. Holograms flickered. Data streams. Mason stared, amazed. "You're a synapse kin," he said, awe creeping into his voice. Zhara nodded. "I can interface with most local tech. Hide it. Everyone's scared of what we can do." No wonder she was alone. The synapse kin were rare, born with the ability to merge with information systems. Valuable, feared, hunted. Mason's protective instinct deepened. She wasn't just a child, she was a target. Part 5, Trouble Comes. 3 days later it came. He'd gone into the bazaar to trade for supplies. When he returned, the camp was torn apart. Zhara was gone. He tracked the trail, crushed soil, drag marks, and followed it back to a merchant compound guarded by private security. A sleazy trader named Vorkin had captured her. He'd scanned her DNA, learned what she was. He planned to sell her off-world to black-market biotech collectors. Mason gave him one chance. "Let her go." Vorkin smirked. "You've got guts, Terran. But not enough muscle." Mason's cybernetic arm hummed as it powered up. 10 seconds later, the compound's front wall exploded outward. Mason moved like a storm, efficient, brutal, unstoppable. He took down 6 guards with tranquilizer darts, 2 more with non-lethal shock pulses. He didn't kill, but he made sure they'd remember him. In the final chamber, Zhara sat inside a containment field, unconscious. Mason stepped into the control room. Vorkin stood behind a desk, shaking. "You can't stop the sale," he hissed. "Buyers already inbound." Mason didn't speak. He lifted his arm and fired an EMP burst. The field shorted out. Zhara crumpled into his arms. "Try to sell her again," Mason said, voice cold as vacuum, "and I will make sure no one remembers your name." Part 6. The Exodus. They didn't stay on Tarkaler. It wasn't safe anymore. Mason retrofitted the old skiff for long-haul travel. With Zara's help, they bypassed lockdown protocols and escaped orbit before Vorkin's buyers even touched down. They drifted through the edge systems, hopping from one friendly outpost to the next. Along the way, Zhara learned more than just survival. Mason taught her strategy, discipline, ethics. She taught him to laugh again. One evening, she looked up at him over the firelight. "Are we a crew now?" Mason smiled. "Yeah, kid. We're a crew." Part 7, The Legacy. 2 years later, their names were whispered across sectors. The Ghost and the Spark. Mason and Zhara became legends, liberating synapse kin from slavers, hacking corrupted trade systems, exposing corporate exploitation. They never stayed in one place too long. Justice, after all, was a moving target. In a galaxy that too often turned a blind eye to suffering, they were a reminder that one person stopping in the street could change everything. And that humanity, flawed, stubborn, infuriating humanity, still had something powerful to offer. Oh,